Welcome back to Tough Love with John O'Connor. Today's podcast is about pivoting and moving forward. You always want to evolve and grow your business. One of the things that I've been doing recently in my social media team and my branding guys that I look at and lean into is to say that we need to definitely do a better job of giving the why behind the posts. I think there's a lot of people out there that are social influencers that do fantastic stuff. But as a paid professional, as a healthcare practitioner, as a business coach, as a fitness enthusiast, professional, sports performance coach for so many years, I think that my messages need to resonate more to our population. I think we're actually shorting them quite a bit. And so today was about identifying hey, what can we do better, right? I think that so many times ego gets in the way of these type of decisions. And I realized just talking to my guys the other day, and even today before we jumped on the pod, was that, hey guys, listen, our message is not great right now. I think people want to see, you know what? In 2020, you were 187 pounds and now you're 210 pounds. Let's talk about meal prep. Let's talk about hormone replacement therapy. Let's talk about peptide therapy. Let's talk about the workouts. Recently, between Rich Tuma and Patrice Vignola and all these fitness professionals that I work with, I'm no longer, Doc, the basketball trainer. I'm this, 50-year-old, athlete that wants to be in his best shape and motivate others in that 40, 50, 60 and beyond to keep going. And one of the neat things that I've seen as my fitness levels are going up and my age is going up too, is running into people in their 20s and 30s and them saying, the old double take, how old are you? And it makes you smile, it makes you realize that they appreciate the work. And, I think that's something that is a meaningful message and needs to be communicated. So many times when we're doing these podcasts about organization and, making sure you're dialed in, we lose focus on the why, and also identifying, when you do lose focus or you lose track of why you're doing what you're doing. And I think now more so than ever for me, I'm super excited. Like the other day, I was looking at a podcast because a friend of mine, I was at the Block, I think 2 weeks ago, and it's an awesome steakhouse in our area, one of the top in the country, I think. And, so the owner said, hey, take a look at Steve Weatherford's story and his message, because he knew I was going through something. And literally I pulled it up, and in the mornings, anybody that follows me, you guys, my listeners, and thank you for being a listener and a follower, sees that my mornings, starting at 4:30, 4:45 are about learning. And I was watching Steve Weatherford's podcast on his why, and it made me realize, that it is so important to evolve and constantly, change what your message is. I mean, stay true to your beliefs and your principles, but, if you want to stay current and constantly keep lifting up generations of people, you need to stay current and deliver that message to the time we're in. Like we're in 2024. You can't deliver the same message that you would deliver it in 94 or 2004 or 2014. And that's something that really resonated. And it was funny because I put it up on my story and I tagged, Steve, and he came right back at me, and I was like, holy shit, and it lets you know these are real people out there that, really care. And when you are shining light on them, they'll shine it back. And, so that was an important thing for me. The other thing that I would say, in what I'm trying to evolve in the social media and the podcast world is getting the message to make people want to be better. I think in the origination of the Tough Love podcast, I wanted to share to people that I wasn't a quitter and that I've always been a grinder since being paralyzed as a kid and overcame so many obstacles. But now as you get older, you have adult problems. Those were kid problems. And then you have your young adult problems. And then you have your, work, career, college problems. And so the one thing you realize is you're always going to have problems. How we deal with them is really what creates our identity. And, I always chuckle because I love country music. I love a lot of music, but I always say, ain't that some shit when you watch, something kind of roll out in front of you and just can't believe that, it turned out that way. And I've been the kind of the stomping ground for that my whole life, is I've always kind of gotten the hand that you have to definitely react to and battle back from. But I think now, if I was taking a page out of David Goggins, I embrace that. I embrace the suck. And, I had a stretch of time where I definitely let fear in, and that is definitely a disease you never want to have to battle with. But I think I've pretty much got that under wraps now. And I have to say that that's one message that I think that delivering on a reoccurring basis is that you have to face your fears. And you have to want to be better every single day. And when you put your 2 feet on the ground, if you are a religious person or you have faith in some God, religion, or manner, to get on your knees and be thankful that you are here for another day, I think that's a great thing. And it's definitely something that I practice, that when I square my feet on that floor, I say, thank you so much for another day. And it's those kind of things that have really kind of changed for me, because I think if you had said that to me, I would have said that 10 years ago, I'd have laughed and said, no, I jumped out of bed on the run 5 minutes late on my day like everybody else. And, was, on fire from 5 o'clock in the morning, running right into a workout, running to work, seeing patients, running to a workout, running to a meeting, a dinner, a family event, and then running to a workout. I think that taught me everything not to do. I run into so many young trainers and, they say, yes, you're this physical medicine guy and you're in that space. But I'd say, yeah, I made my practice doing exactly what you're doing now. And the one thing I learned is that I wish that I took more time to pay attention to the little details that we are now. And that's one of the things with social media that's so critical, is that it's the little details. It's not the big things, the big flashy colors. Like, you watch the content and the power in the words that the top 5% that are out there. And it is ridiculous how good they are. And that's my aspiration. That's my goal. And I would say for me, I've always aspired to be a great athlete, but now, I heard, Ed Milet say this a couple of years ago on one of his podcasts, of being a business athlete. And that's what I want to be. I want to be an Olympian as far as a business athlete. I want to be in great shape. I want people to know that that's part of my culture in any business that I do, relationships that I have, people that are around me. And I think it's important. I think you have to know what your DNA is. And for me, if you can stay focused with that, I think that you're going to be very successful. I think that consistency, I think that's something that I put on all my social media when I'm personally doing it versus my team, is a hashtag consistency, hashtag run it back, hashtag never give up. And it's all these things, these mantras, these reminders to say, you need to show up every single day. And with that being said, pretty excited right now. I've been talking to a couple huge Instagram influencers, and you never know where it's going to go, but what a compliment for them to reach out and, possibly have an opportunity to work with them or create some synergies. I was sharing this earlier with some friends. I'm super excited to be working out tomorrow with Chef James Avery. Absolute beast. One of the few chefs in the food business that are built like a brick shit house. So looking forward to rapping with him tomorrow during a filmed workout session at Iron Revolution in Howell or Freehold, and absolutely just getting after it and really kind of exploring that, see where it goes, maybe creating a podcast from it, maybe creating some type of reoccurring motivational page that lets people know, like, whatever your business is, whatever your job is, train for it, right? Prepare for it every single day. it's amazing what 15 minutes of preparation will do, or 20 minutes of preparation will do in, prior to meeting anybody. I don't care whether that's a business meeting, family, or this or that, but putting some dedicated effort and concentration in really dials you in. And that's something that I've been really working on over the last 3 or 4 weeks as I've been, really kind of re-scripting who I am and what the messages I'm delivering on a daily basis. So again, very excited to be bringing you guys this message, and can't really wait to see what you guys think. I believe that, the new content, the new influencers that I'll be collabing with in companies, I think you'll be impressed as I am. And I hope that I don't let you guys down. The other thing that I'm super excited about is we're going to be pivoting a little bit with regards to working with MedRay Laser and Technology. They're a great small company in the medical device sales arena. 2 amazing owners. They pivoted from law to go into this business. Talk about a podcast that needs to happen. They just bought this business in, an old school guy, this guy, Dr. Gary, wonderful guy we dealt with. And he tragically and suddenly died. And they were only a few, weeks, months into owning this business. And he was an old school catalog, handshake, go to all the convention type of marketing guru. And so when he died, these were modern business, LinkedIn, email, text kind of savvy attorneys. And so they had to grind. And they've taught me a lot. They're both young entrepreneurs, and, with kids, and, Josh and AJ are really wonderful. They've been, I feel like I've adopted them like little brothers, and I'm looking forward to how we're going to change our social media approach, very similar to a lot of these other influencers when they're talking about the products directly. And I think a lot of times in a lot of my social media, we put it out there, we're working on people third person, but I'm looking forward to talking directly to the camera about what these amazing devices do and how they can help so many people out there. And we were inspired collectively as a company when we attended a international event in Florida, the first of its kind, for shockwave providers. And, not to get crazy off topic, but it's a device that, the medical community, physical medicine, chiropractic community uses, and globally, it is remarkably well received. And I had recently got one and, from MedRay, and absolutely amazing results with my patients, to the point where I've worked on it with some of my fitness trainers. I bring them with me just to let them see it. And they're blown away with the results. And I think probably the largest impression that someone made on me, or a group, was the fact that it was trauma and orthopedic surgeons from all over the world that were using these devices to treat patients. And, when I'm talking to patients or friends, I'm like, I immediately say, hey guys, let me just tell you, probably the number one most impactful statement I can tell you is watching these professional soccer club orthopedic surgeons say, we start with these modalities. And, and I think so that's a big thing I'm really going to be pushing on my social media, just the importance of education and knowing of options in anything in life. And I think that's going to be pretty exciting. I think that people will be blown away watching that technology, and more importantly, bringing some of my international colleagues and influencers on, so that you see professional basketball players or soccer players or other hybrid athletes getting these treatments all over the world, so you guys could see the value of it. But again, huge shout out to my guys at MedRay for that, because I believe that they're going to be super happy with the audience and the amount of attention we're going to bring to them with that. So anyway, today was really like an update, let you know that this podcast was about kind of like current events. Where is John O'Connor going with Tough Love? What is it? How are we evolving? How are we rebranding? We're definitely going to do a better job. My team and myself have fully committed to be more involved with brands that we support, brands that we're aligned with, and getting their stuff out there and getting attention on them, get eyes on them and us. and hopefully entertain you guys in the process. So anyway, stay tuned. Thank you so much for joining us today. Again, these podcasts, these last couple are super exciting for us because just being in front of the camera is very humbling. And when you're speaking to an audience. So I hope you guys appreciated the information we had today. Again, you can find us across all social media platforms. And the biggest thank you could give us is sharing our information or commenting with a favorable, response and, letting people know that you find value in what you're seeing, listening, and reading. Have a great night.